Hi, everybody. So today we're looking at domain and range of graphs. And again, we're continuing with the kind of review of Algebra 1 stuff. But what I'm going to show you today really does entail more into Algebra 2 at this point. Hopefully you've already done the notation chart from Wednesday or Thursday, depending on what day you're on. Because without that, this is going to be a bit more confusing to you than it might already be. All right, so a couple of things. First of all, some quick notes that you kind of need to know before I get started. And again, if you haven't done a chart, this is not going to make sense to you, so you might want to go do that first before you even start looking at this stuff. But first of all, if we are dealing with open circles on graphs, we're going to be using inequality signs that look like this. And if we're looking at closed circles on a graph, we're going to be using inequality signs that look like this. Okay. Also, for interval notation, we're going to use parentheses on these, and we're going to use brackets on these. Okay. The union symbol, actually, we don't need the union symbol, so I'm not going to do the chart right now. The infinite symbol, whether it's positive or negative infinity, we're always going to use parentheses for those. Okay, and that's going to be whenever we have to deal with arrows. Okay, and you'll see that on the very first example. And I'm trying to think if there's anything else, quick notes that you just want to know. No. Okay. So when you write domain and range, when you write domain and range, you always want to write left to right. Nope. That's not how you spell right. Just kidding. Left to right. For domain, okay. For range, we're going to always go bottom to top. Okay, and you'll see what I mean by that here in a second. All right, so as usual, if I say pause, it's because you probably might want to maybe take a look at it first. But know that there are 3 ways that you need to know how to write this, okay, along with being able to graph it and write it in words. So if we look at a graph, okay, I'm going to start with this one first on the right-hand side, because that's actually a bit more explaining on how to do this before I even get to the one on the left. So the first thing I want you to know is this. When I talk about domain, okay, we're talking about x values, range, we're talking about y values, okay? So that means that on my domain, when I look at the x values, I look at the graph and I say, okay, my x graph looks like it starts at -4, and it looks like my f graph is going to start at 3. So for an inequality, I would write it as -4 and 3 for my domain. Since it's an inequality, I know how to use my inequality symbols, okay? So here's what I look at first. This is an open circle. Since it's an open circle, I use an inequality without a line or an equal sign. I know domain has to be x. And if I look at my 3 over here, it's a solid circle. So I'm going to use my inequality with an equal sign or a line. Okay. That being said, if I look at my range in the same light, but this time I'm going to go bottom top. Well, my range on my y, my range on my y looks like it starts here at -2 and it ends here at 5. So my range, I can say, goes from -2 to 5. And again, open circle, so an inequality, we're talking about y now. Closed circle, so equals 2. So that's inequality. That's what you would have done in Algebra 1. Okay. In interval notation, what's nice about interval notation is the fact that it's actually a lot simpler to write, because on those, all I'm really doing is writing my 2 endpoints. And this is where people get confused sometimes. So it's like, well, isn't that a coordinate? It's not a coordinate. It's just the way interval actually reads. Since I used an open circle or a inequality sign here, right? Then right here, I'm going to use a parentheses. Parentheses. And because I used an inequality sign that looks like this, I'm going to use a bracket. And it reads basically from -4 to 3 on and all values of x between. Okay, that's how it reads. So if I look at my range, okay, same thing. There's my -2, comma, there's my 5, right? And again, inequality, so I'm going to use parenthesis, open circle. Inequality with a line, so I'm going to use bracket. All right, set builder. Set builder is one of those that we use for different reasons, and we kind of just need to know how to write this. And the way it reads is this, and again, if you haven't done a chart, this is going to be new for you, so I would definitely go back and do the chart first, is this. I want all values of x such that -4 is less than x, but is less than or equal to 3. Notice what I did. I basically just took my inequality and dropped it in there with my set. Okay? Pretty straightforward. There's no trick to it. That's really what you need to do with it. On my range, I want all values of y such that -2 is less than y is less than or equal to 5. And if you can't draw the squiggly line like this, that's okay. That just takes practice. All right. So now I'm going to look at the first one. Okay, and it's a little different because of this arrow right here. What I always tell my students is this. Always, always, always draw infinity signs like this, because this is going to be very helpful for a lot of other things down the road. Okay, and that's going to be very important because this arrow indicates infinity signs. Okay, that's what it indicates. So like my domain, and again, I'm going to write it with an infinity sign, even though sometimes you don't have to. So my domain, I know, I'm going to switch colors here so it's not as confusing. It goes from -3, and then it goes to this arrow, right? Because of that arrow, I know that my -3 is going to go forever on, which means that I'm going to go to a positive infinity. So if I write this as a domain, I'm going to say it starts at -3 and it goes to a positive infinity. Now, we don't always have to write the infinity, just so you know, with an x, and again, close circle, so equal to, and then again, because it's infinity, we don't use an equal to. Okay. My range is very similar. Okay. And again, if I go from top to bottom this direction, here's my arrow again, but again, I know that it's infinity, but because I'm going top to bottom, I'm going to start at negative infinity, and I'm going to stop at 2. And again, I apologize, I'm running out of space here, but that happens sometimes. Okay. And there's my range. Now, the reason why I'm writing with the infinity signs is because it helps me with my interval part of this. So if I go back to my domain again for my interval, I know it's from -3 to infinity. And again, symbol, so bracket, parentheses. And again, negative infinity, comma, 2, symbol, bracket, infinity sign, parentheses. And again, it reads all values of negative infinity to 2 for my y, for my range. Okay. So in set builder, or write my set builder, it would look something like this. Value of x such that -3 is less than or equal to, that's a 3, x, which is less than infinity, and then my range, which I'm going to fit in here, is all values of y such that negative infinity to y to 2. I've got a bit more space next time. That was my fault. Okay. So at this point, if you want to look at the next one and try it before I get to it, now's the time to do it. All right. Here I go again. Now this time I'm not going to explain it a whole lot, but so I'm going to kind of just do it. So if you did this already, fantastic. If not, try it before you watch the rest of this video. Okay, so my domain, I know, goes from here, to here. So it's -5. It looks like to 4. Open circle. So x, like that. My range, actually, I'm just going to finish the interval first. I know it goes from -5 to 4 on my x values. Again, because of the symbols, parentheses. And then my set builder, negative values of x such that -5 is less than x is less than 4. Okay. My range, now this one's a little tricky. It goes from here to here. So it goes from -4 to 3. And again, y's. Now, because this is technically a solid circle, there's not an open circle, it'll be equal to both of those guys. Okay. My interval notation would be -4 to 3. And again, because of the symbols, bracket, which indicates that it's equal to on the graph. Set builder, values of y such that -4 to y to 3. Okay. And I'm going to separate this with a black line real fast so it doesn't get in the way. The second one, hopefully you've already done it. My domain looks like it goes from here to here. So from -2 to 2, x, and again, because it's technically closed circles, equal to. My interval notation from -2 to 2, and again, brackets because the values are equal to. And then my set builder, values of x such that -2 to x to 2. Okay. My range, and again, if you haven't done it yet, pause it. From here to here. So it looks like it's from -4 to 4. My y, and again, equals 2. Interval notation, -4 to 4. Again, because they're both equal to, brackets. And then my set builder, which I'm going to kind of squeeze in here again, values of y such that okay. All right, last one. And last one's actually a lot quicker because of what it is. Okay, so the nice thing about this one is the fact that this is considered to be discrete information. Okay, what that means is this. There is no inequality way of doing this. There is no interval way of doing this. There is only set that we actually do. Okay, and the best way to describe the domain and range of this is that I want all values of x such that x is going to be equal to, looks like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. And then for my range, all my values of y, let me write this right here, such that y is equal to -1, 0, 1, 3, and 5. 1, 3, 5. That's an ugly 5. But anyway, now that's one way of doing it. A lot of times you just so people just write only this part only or only this part. That's it. And again, I'm okay with that. But I just want you to get used to what set builder is. All right. So again, if you haven't done the other chart, you might want to do that first before you even jump into this. But if you get this, go ahead and jump into your assignment and get it done. And we're just looking at domain and range for this. Okay. Your test over all this information is actually coming up next week. So we're getting close for the first time. All right. Peace out.